The Dallas Mavericks are ready to make history, as last night's win over the Miami Heat notched our 50th win on the season, the second time in 6 years. Also, the second time with Jason Kidd as a head coach, and the Dallas Mavericks are ready to make a splash in the playoffs as we are now solidified in that 5th seed. We can't go any higher, we can't go any lower, as we only have 2 games left against the Detroit Pistons and the Oklahoma City Thunder. But that also means we will be seeing the Los Angeles Clippers in the first round, as they are also locked in that 4th seed. They can't go any higher or lower. But there's a lot of things that this Dallas Mavericks team has been doing right, especially on the defensive end, and just how this team has just transformed itself over the course of a season. So we'll break that down, as well as we also have an injury update on Derrick Lively and Josh Green. But how's it going, everybody? My name is Marcel Martin. This is Mavs Digest, bringing you the latest news on everything Mavericks related. And before we get started with today's video, 59.6% of you guys watching are not subscribed. That number is slowly going down day by day. But if you want to stay up to date on all the Mavericks news, the live streams, or the giveaways that we do here on this channel, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on a single thing that we do. But like I said in the intro, last night's win over the Miami Heat, where we held them only to like 92 points, we have solidified ourselves as the 5th seed in the West, and we are headed to the playoffs. No play-in for us, and we're going to see the Los Angeles Clippers. As reported here that it's official. The Clippers and Mavericks will face off in the first round of this year's NBA playoffs. And for all my Mavs fans out there, you guys know that the Clippers are a team that we've seen fairly often in this Luka era. We saw them in the bubble, and like a year or two ago, maybe 3 years ago, we were going back and forth with the Los Angeles Clippers, where neither team could win a home game, it seemed. But because the Clippers were a higher seed, they had more away games, more home games. I can't really remember how it went. All I know is we lost that season, and it was just sad. And I also remember that no one could win a home game. It was just ridiculous. But this Dallas Mavericks team has a chance to just run it back and to just impress the entire world that we are a different team. I mean, we've seen it from the start of the season to now, that over the course of 82 games soon, that this team has completely changed our identity. I mean, we went from a team that relied on Luka to just carry the offense and everybody just fall in line, and for the most part they did. Sometimes they fell short, to now we got Luka and Kyrie, someone like Luka who can just take over in a moment's notice while Kyrie hangs back with the rest of the players, organize the troops and get them galvanized and ready to go. As what we saw against the Golden State Warriors, Kyrie did a great job leading that team, that very depleted team, running on a skeleton crew, because we didn't have Luka, no Maxey, no Josh Green, or Derrick Lively, and still got the job done. We're a whole new team. We saw at the trade deadline, we got PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford, who added excellent defense to this team. We've just been unstoppable. I want to say we're about 17-1 with Daniel Gafford as a starter. I mean, that's got to count for something. Over the last 20 games, we're 18-2, the best in that stretch in the league. This Dallas Mavericks team, right before our eyes, are ready to go. I mean, we saw right after the All-Star break, things got a little shaky. I mean, even myself, I'm not excluded from criticism, but me and a lot of other people were calling for Coach Kidd's job. We didn't want him here. Like, what are you doing? You have a great roster. What's going on? But again, shouts out to Jason Kidd. I'll give him his flowers now, because he has been amazing in the last 20 games, pretty much the whole season. I'll give him credit for the whole season. The ups, downs, and everything in between. Jason Kidd has shown us that he is the right coach for this team, and he'll continue to be the right coach for this team. And come playoff times, I'm sure he'll show it. But I mentioned earlier about how our defense has just been unstoppable lately, but let's take a closer look at that. The Dallas Mavericks starting unit of Kyrie Irving, Luka Doncic, Derrick Jones Jr., PJ Washington, and Daniel Gafford has played 162 minutes since the NBA All-Star break. The 98.3 defensive rating they've achieved is the best among all 28 five-man combos with 100-plus minutes. Now, 162 minutes, that's not a lot, especially since we just traded for PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford. I want to say, for example, the Denver Nuggets starting five has like over 500 minutes played for the season. We only have like 180, 160 minutes played with our starting five, and they are the #1 defensive rating across the board. So the narrative of Luka doesn't play defense or Kyrie's too small, that's not true. Of course, Daniel Gafford, PJ Washington, the warden and the landlord, they just play amazing lockdown defense. But our team as a whole, especially Derrick Jones Jr., who is just a monster guarding guards on the wing, has been amazing. And Luka Doncic, who it seems like it's the thing to just criticize his defense without actually watching Luka play and seeing that he does play defense, has been amazing. And I've mentioned it before that Luka is starting to mature more as a leader and as a player. Instead of complaining to the refs, he's running back on defense. He's throwing his body in there in the passing lane, trying to get steals, trying to draw charges, and it's amazing. And you can see the impact that he's having on this team as he leads by example. We've got Dante playing great defense. Derrick Jones Jr., PJ, they're already great defenders. But even Josh Green, who last night was his first game back, only played about 15 or so minutes, but he looked amazing. He looked like he didn't miss a single step. Luka is becoming the leader that this Dallas Mavericks team knew that he could be, and he's doing it from the defensive end. We already knew he was great offensively. I mean, look at Tim Hardaway Jr. The man takes like 9 threes a game. I mean, obviously the offense is rubbing off on some of the players on the Dallas Mavericks team, but the defense is so important, and that's something that'll make Luka a complete player, and will also make this Dallas Mavericks team a more complete team. But what more needs to be said about this Dallas Mavericks defense? But Derrick Jones Jr. on the Mavs' 16-2 stretch since he and Daniel Gafford joined the starting lineup, saying on the defensive end, we clicking a lot more and we helping each other. We just getting it done, doing all the dirty work. And that's what you love to see. A player who is selfless, a player who's able to just insert himself into all the nooks and crannies on defense. Like, hey, I'm gonna run around these screens. I'm a guard Steph Curry, because we know how Derrick Jones Jr. can just really put the clamps on Steph Curry and other smaller guards. He runs around screens. He gets in the passing lane. He's a slam dunk champion, so the man can obviously jump high and get blocks. I love to see our guys commit to defense, because, again, it starts with Luka. He sets the example, he sets the tone, and everybody follows suit. They know that Luka is going to be the main brunt of our offense. And so what makes his job easier is if everyone else commits to defense. And Derrick Jones Jr. is not wrong. The guys are clicking. They're playing very well. They also look happy out there. And they look like they love to be there. But also, it's great that Derrick Jones Jr. mentioned this, because he is going to be an unrestricted free agent in the summer, and he's definitely a player who we got to throw the bag at. I mean, reasonably so, but under the new ownership, I'm pretty sure we can afford whatever Derrick Jones Jr. needs, because this team is in its prime right now, ready to win as we speak. But it doesn't just stop there, people. The Mavs, like I said earlier, on a 16-2 over an 18-game span for the first time since their championship season in 2011. For all the big numbers Luka Doncic and Kyrie are putting up, the most impressive stat is that Dallas has the league's #1 defense during this run. Everybody says it. Defense wins championships. And over the last 20 games, this Dallas Mavericks team has had the best defense. The numbers don't lie. The eye test doesn't lie. The results don't lie. And even though it's felt rocky here and there, I think as Mavericks fans, we can agree that sometimes we can get a little apprehensive, as we're just worried of the team falling back into bad habits. We see them go on droughts, and it's something that we don't want to look for. Like the moment where the 3 ball just wasn't falling over a stretch of games, but our inside scoring was great. But over the last few games, the team is starting to look just perfect almost. I mean, obviously there's improvements needed everywhere. The team isn't really perfect, but as far as a contender, a true contender, this team is ready to go, and it starts on the defensive end, because we already know what Luka and Kyrie can do in the offense. They're going to just be unstoppable. But as long as our defense stays competitive and stays #1 over the course of the next few weeks, this Dallas Mavericks team can go very, very far. But right here, again, with tonight's win, the Mavericks secured their 5th division title in team history in 1987, 2007, 2010, 2021, and now 2024. The Dallas improved to 50-30 on the year, recording its 16th 50-win season in franchise history, and its 2nd in the last 3 years. And who do we attribute to all this success? That the Mavs have won 50+ games in 2 of the 3 seasons in the Jason Kidd era. They hadn't won 50 games in the prior 6 years before Kidd arrived. We got to give Jason Kidd his flowers. We got to give the man credit. Yes, there were moments where we're just scratching our heads like, what are you talking about? You're just standing there watching the game. You're letting them figure it on the court, call a timeout. We all had our fair criticism of Jason Kidd. Rightfully so, because we want this team to do well. We want Jason to be a great coach. We want Luka to win the MVP. We want Kyrie to win a 2nd ring. So yes, there will be criticisms when things are rough. But in the grand scheme of things, in the big picture, this Mavericks team is being handled very well by Jason Kidd. I mean, we saw his first year. We went to the Western Conference Finals, where he was just coaching his butt off out there. We had a great team. We had a great run. Last year, things didn't really look that well, as we were trying to shake up the roster, add pieces that worked, get rid of pieces that didn't work. But here we go. We're right back on track. We have 2 more games left. We can finish with 52 wins. Jason Kidd has had great moments this season. He's looking to get extension in the summer, where right now I think he deserves it. Regardless of how the playoffs go, Jason Kidd earned that extension, because where we are right now, we got to keep the team together. Maybe add a few pieces in the offseason if the money allows, if we can find suitable trade suitors for certain players. But I like where we're at, and Jason Kidd has done a good job. And again, right here, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. But regardless, the Dallas Mavericks are in a great spot, and they're going to do great things. But the injury update that I just showed on Derrick Lively, right here saying that Lively will not play in either of the remaining regular season games, Kidd said. That was pretty clear given that he's not practicing in the season and Sunday, and that kind of makes sense. When Derrick Lively first got injured, they said it would take about 2 weeks, but that was before they even saw any physician. They were just, in my opinion, they were just giving an arbitrary time period, like a little timetable. But he was in crutches, and it was, good reason that he's not going to play for the rest of the season. But recently, he is in a soft cast. He's out of the crutches, but he's still not practicing. And they said it. He's not going to play for these last 2 games. Rightfully so. It's against the Pistons and the Thunder, which it will be a much better game. But we don't want to risk any major injury for Derrick Lively, even though there is no word if he'll be back for the playoffs. It stands to reason that for the next 2 weeks before the playoffs, Derrick Lively can use that time to rest, rehab, and recover, because Daniel Gafford has been doing great at the 5, but when we get Derrick Lively, things just click, and it's beautiful. But on top of a Derrick Lively injury update, we got a Josh Green one, where Josh Green is expected to play around 50 minutes against the Miami Heat in his return to the Dallas Mavericks lineup, which he did last night, and he did phenomenal. And I mentioned before on this channel, when it comes to injuries with this Dallas Mavericks team, you don't really get an update until the player's closer to coming back. So again, saying Derrick Lively won't play these next 2 games, okay, he's probably going to come back for the playoffs. That's a fair assumption. There was very little to no talk about Josh Green coming back until right before last night's game against the Miami Heat, which he played about 15 or so minutes. He had good hustle plays. The box score didn't really stand out, but when you watched Josh Green, his impact was felt. He was everywhere. He didn't look like he missed a step at all. Still has that speed, and it was just great. But when one comes back, another one will come back. So with Josh Green back in the lineup, he'll be here for about 2 games to get reacclimated with the team, because he's been out for about a month now. But once when Derrick Lively comes back as well, before playoff time, let's hope, cross our fingers, the Dallas Mavericks will be ready to make history, because I truly believe that this team, as constructed, as coached, will go far in the playoffs, and I'm ready to go the distance, go the long mile, whatever you want to say. I'm here riding with the Mavs, MFFL. You already know what it is. But I appreciate you guys making this far into the video. Make sure to check out our Twitter and Discord links below. If you want to become a channel member, check it out. We're doing a free jersey giveaway every month. Well, not a free jersey every month, but we're doing giveaways every month. This month will be a free jersey. All you have to do is become a channel member, and you are automatically entered into the jersey giveaway. But until next time, guys, y'all take care. Peace.